بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. صلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا وإمامنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. There were some things that I wanted to discuss tonight and share with you, brothers. However, after offering Salat al-Isha, I want to follow one of my personal traditions. And that personal tradition is to pick up a random book. If you notice that before we offered the Isha, it was back there in the library, and I picked up a random book. After we offered the Salah, to my right on the second step of the minbar, there was a random book. So, as we say here in the United States, blind justice, blindfold. No discrimination, no prejudice. What book is this? Is it a book that has more than one volume, English, Arabic, a book that I've read, a book that I've studied, a book that I've memorized, a book that's totally new? What's important is a random book. Pick up that random book, and secondly, open it up to a random location and see what you find. There may be something that you've never heard of, you've never read, new information for you. There may be something which is a hadith or a tafsir or poetry or a fatwa or something pertaining to fiqh, madhab, that you may have studied before, that you could have been caused to forget, a little rusty, or a different interpretation, a greater depth, etc. So therefore, when it comes to studying, your studies should be systematic. Like anything else in life, there's a system, there's a proper way. But at the same time, just like anything else in life, if your pursuit of a thing is too systematic, too rigid, then of course you're going to miss out on many things. And any successful person in life will tell you that there always has to be an element of sporadic, an element of random, an element of chaos, an element of out of order. This wasn't planned. Actors, Hollywood, the best actors, the most talented actors, the most skilled actors, the most award-winning actors, is an established fact that much of what is on the film, on the tape, the movie that you're watching was never in the script. But the actor is so good, so talented, he just starts acting. And the camera continues to roll and continues to capture. And the director and the producer says, "Whoa, this is fantastic." He says it wasn't even in the script. What do you mean? It was never a part of the script. He just started and he kept talking. He kept speaking. He kept making it up. And look what you have. But of course, the film and the movie has to have a script. And the actors have to be aware of that script. And they have to study that script. And every actor, starring, supporting, however they play, whatever role they play, they have to know their script well. Rather, you need to know the script of the next actor. Stop, something's wrong. You weren't supposed to say that. You're messing it up. But every now and then there has to be something which isn't a part of the script. So many brothers and sisters from all different ages, ethnicities, races, Islamic backgrounds, orientations, they ask me how to study. Where do I go and study? What to study first? How do I be like you? How can I become like you? How can I study? Etc., 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 etc. What is the secrets? And from them, what I've shared and I'm sharing right now is that your studies cannot be 101% A to Z. But every now and then you gotta mix it up. So if you had a library in your house or in the masjid, I'm on volume 1 right now. I'm on a small paperback book. let me just pick up volume 16 of this big, long, extensive book. Let me just see what I find. It's above my pay grade, it's too advanced, it's confusing, but you're gonna benefit from it. And you'll say, whoa, let me put that down. Or you're gonna say, oh, that's interesting, I read it in a smaller book. Or what does this mean? And you ask a question. Sheikh, what does this mean? How do you know that? You're not supposed to be reading volume 16. I know that, Sheikh, but I did read volume 16. So please tell me what it is. It's only gonna benefit you, all right? And this can be applicable to anything in life. A recipe with a chef, a cook. If they have a book that they're using, instructions that they're using, the best chefs for sure are gonna deviate from the original recipe. And they're gonna, let me put a little more. It says for a teaspoon, let me put 2. It says use this spice, let me use another spice. And that's how things evolve. And that's how people become great. You understand? And this is one of the reasons why the food never tastes the same when you make it yourself at home. You ever ask yourself the question, I follow the exact instructions. This franchise now sells these biscuits or these types of breadsticks or this type of coating or whatever the case may be in the market now. You take it, you go home, you prepare it, and it doesn't taste the same. And one of the reasons why it doesn't taste the same is that the chef in that restaurant, your favorite restaurant, he's following teaspoon, cup, eggs, milk, flour, but there's something that he's what? That you don't know about, which gives you that unforgettable taste. And this goes on and on and on and on in all aspects of life, all aspects of life. So this is one of my personal things, my personal tricks of the trade, is that while studying systematically, formally, in school, step by step, you yourself have to pick up different things and encounter different things, and you never know what you'll come across. And as a speaker, you can prepare something, or you may have an idea of what you're going to talk about. You may pick up a book and something may fall into your heart. I've spoken about this before, I've explained this before, but let me explain it again. Let me speak about it again. Let me talk about it again. You never know how things will end. So with that being said, this here is a book, one of the most beneficial books for the 9-to-5 Muslim, for the Imam of the Masjid, a scholar, a faqih, a mufti, a father, a mother, a stepfather, a stepmother, a basketball coach, softball coach. Whatever you do in life as a Muslim, you're going to benefit from this book. Riyadh al-Salihin min Kalami Sayyid al-Mursaleen, of the great author Yahya ibn Sharaf al-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala. I have explained this book, spoken from this book, on this book, taught this book, all different types of locations. And after I made my tasneem, obviously there's a bookmark here, but that's not where I had opened it up. It came across instead the 47th chapter. 47th chapter. What does the 47th chapter state? What does the 47th chapter say? The author, may Allah have mercy upon him, states, in the 47th chapter, باب علامات حب الله تعالى للعبد والحث على التخلق بها والسعي في تحصيلها. Chapter 47 says, signs of Allah's love for His slave and the efforts for its achievement, i.e., how do I know that Allah loves me? That's the golden question. That's what we all want. Hopefully that's why we're sitting here right now tonight. How do I know Allah loves me? Does Allah love me? If Allah doesn't love me, how can I get Him to love me? If Allah loves me, how can I get Allah to love me more? And as a human being, we have faith. We believe in the unseen, but no doubt, every now and then as humans, we need to see things, feel things. And And we need to be reassured of something that we already know. And the greatest example of this, of course, is a husband and wife. You know that I love you. That's common sense. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. No one is forcing me to stay with you. How many divorces are there in the Muslim community and outside of the Muslim community? How many people have walked on, rebounded, found new love? No one's forcing you to stay here. You know that I love you. However, your wife may say, when's the last time you told me that you love me? Sincerely. Without me having to tell you first, I love you, and I love you too. Text him on the phone. When's the last time you came out and told me I love you? When's the last time? Think about that now. I remember once, I was in California. There was a young brother there in the community. We were in a restaurant eating lunch, taking a break between the different classes. And I don't know how we got on the topic, but he started talking about disciplining their children. Disciplining their children. We started talking about, beating kids. All right, let's be honest. That was the conversation. Disciplining your kids. Can you beat your kids? Should you beat your kids? Etc., etc., etc. So we're having a comfortable conversation. And I said to this young brother, I said, yeah, well, where I come from, your parents, your grandparents, whatever the case is going to be, they beat you. And as you're crying and hard, they say, I'm beating you because I love you. This is why I'm beating you. For you to get the message, do the right thing, this is for your future. And you're saying, how do you love me in the middle of beating me? How does that make any sense? You just imagine it now. Someone beating you and saying, I love you. A little weird, right? And the younger brother, I'm not going to mention the ethnicity that he was from. Take that out right now, which is very important, but I'm not. He said, where I come from, my ethnicity, he said, your parents never tell you that they love you. Rewarding you, beating nothing. Those words never come out of your parents' mouths. I love you, son. Of course, we know that our fathers and mothers love us, but they never, ever verbalize it. And as we say, there's truth in every joke. So we're laughing, we're joking, but it's clear that he's walking with some of those childhood scars of not being told he was loved by his parents. More than me walking with the childhood scars of getting a what? A beating. I want to understand the moral of the story. That's clear. It's a joke, we're laughing, we're eating, but he wanted to be told by his father, I love you, son. And of course he knows that his father loves him. Most of what he has to this day is because of his father. That's a fact. Regardless of your relationship with your father, it's a fact. Most of what you have is because of your father. If your father wasn't around and you succeeded and prospered in life, it was because your father wasn't around that made you achieve, that made you go harder and further to prove. If your father spoiled you, you had everything that you wanted, and you succeeded and prospered in life, it was because you had to prove to people, I can do it myself. This is my legacy that I built. I built this, I did this, not because of my father. And you want to keep walking in the shadow of, hey, you look just like your father. Your father used to do the same. Oh, we have such and such, the son of such and such. He's tired of that shadow over his head. This big, great businessman, this big, great man, this big, great athlete. No, I'm my own athlete. I'm good. I don't need my father to be good. All right? So whether it's bad, your father told you never be nothing in life, if you turn out to be something in life, it's because of what? Your father. If your father supported you and said you will do something big in life, your success is going to be based off of your father. But it was clear that this young brother, he was missing something. As we say, do you need a hug? Do you need a friend? He wanted his father to tell him, I love you. And never ever underestimate the power and the magic of words. The power and the magic of words. The Prophet ﷺ says, Inna min al-bayani la sihra. From words, clear words, eloquent words, is sorcery. And from that, you can tell someone, I love you. Just that easy, that simple. Even though the love is proven through physical actions. But the fact that they tell you verbally, means something as a human being. It means something. So we as humans, the moral of the story is, we need to see things. We need to feel things. We need to be reassured because we all have insecurities, all of us. We all have insecurities. We all have inner weakness, inner doubt. Some more than others. Some manage it better than others. Some handle it better than others. But every human has some type of inner, I'm not good enough. Or you really don't like me, or. All of us as humans. So from this is to see something or to get a sign or a clue or an indication. And this is one of the reasons why Allah Azza wa Jalla sent the prophets and the messengers with ayat to show and to prove. And Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, he asked Allah, how do you give life to the dead? كيف تحيي الموتى? And Allah asked him the question, أَوَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ? Don't you already believe? Ibrahim said, of course, Bala, Rabbi, of course I believe. However, لِيَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي. Oh Allah, I am a human. You know that. I'm a slave. I'm poor. I'm weak. And I need my heart to be what? At rest. I need my heart to be put at rest. Right? So therefore, the Muslim is going to strive to obtain Allah's love. And as he strives to obtain this love, he's weak, she's weak, forgetful, sinful, negligent, stingy, greedy, cowardly, selfish, lustful. These are the negativities of the human being that the Muslim is trying his hard to fight against and to overcome. Every now and then you're going to need something to push you further. You're going to need a reminder. You're going to need an incentive. You're going to need a clue that inshallah I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right thing. And hopefully, inshallah, Allah loves me. And if Allah loves me, that's the greatest achievement. There's nothing better than you can achieve than obtaining the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is why we're here as Muslims. So therefore, this chapter, it says that there are signs and there are clues, and there are things which indicate and point out to the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can love a servant and loves a servant. So what are those clues? What are those indicators? So as I scrolled through the chapter, I came across the second hadith in the chapter, which is the 387th hadith. The author states, وعنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال إذا أحب الله تعالى العبد نادى جبريل إن الله تعالى يحب فلانا فأحببه فيحبه جبريل فينادي في أهل السماء إن الله يحب فلانا فأحبوه فيحبه أهل السماء ثم يوضع له القبول في الأرض متفق عليه. وفي رواية من مسلم قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله تعالى إذا أحب عبدا دعا جبريل فقال إني أحب فلانا فأحببه فيحبه جبريل ثم ينادي في السماء فيقول إن الله يحب فلانا فأحبه فيحبه أهل السماء ثم يوضع له القبول في الأرض وإذا أبغض عبدا دعا جبريل فيقول إني أبغض فلانا فأبغضه فيبغضه جبريل ثم ينادي في أهل السماء إن الله يبغض فلانا فأبغضوه فيبغضه أهل السماء ثم توضع له البغضاء في الأرض. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, when Allah loves a slave, He, Allah, calls out to Jibreel and He says, I love so-and-so, Fulan, Abdullah, Abdurrahman, Mustafa, Khalid, Murtaza, whatever your name is. Allah speaks to Jibreel, declaring His love of this human being by his name. Just stop and think about that now. How many humans know it today?
8 billion.
That's a lot of people. 8 billion is what? It's a lot of people. How many people in the world look alike, talk alike, It's hard, right? You pick up one person, this one, that one. That means a lot, right? Psychology of a human being. If you were selling something to someone, the history of this country, Uncle Sam wants who? Uncle Sam wants you. Think about the psychology behind that poster. Uncle Sam wants you. Even though you know Uncle Sam doesn't really exist. You know that they need people to fight the war. There's a draft. However, the human being picked out and singled out, it means something. Once again, it's the mind of the human is special. Even if it's a lie, subhanAllah. Even if you know it's made up, it has an effect upon you. You're trying to sell something, someone say, hey, you've been selected for a survey. You've been picked. If a man was trying to talk to a woman, the woman thinks that she's above this man. I'm better than you. You don't deserve to talk to me. But the fact that you've shown her attention from among how many other women, oftentimes is going to make a difference. And at worst, she's going to blush. Really? Me? And she may, just because you paid attention to her. So humans like to be pulled out in a positive manner. Just like humans hate to be singled out in a negative manner. They don't like that. So this hadith states that when Allah loves a slave, He calls out to Jibreel, telling him, oh Jibreel, there's a human being on earth. So-and-so is his name. I have loved him. It is now your duty, your task, to love him as well. Jibreel, alayhi salatu wasalam, after he receives those instructions, he calls out to those who are lower than him, beneath him. He says to the angels, the malaika, and Allahu A'lam, the hadith says, Ahlus Sama, the people of heaven, the people of the heavens. Oh, Ahlus Sama, indeed there is a servant, human being or jinni. And look at the subconscious prejudice. The hadith says nothing about a human being. But we automatically interpret it to mean what? A human being. But it could be a what? A jinn. A believing jinn. A pious jinni. There is a servant, jinni or human, that Allah loves. His name is such and such, so and so. You now have to what? Love him as well. Once this takes place, something happens, and there's a sign, a tangible sign. ثُمَّ يُوضَعُ لَهُ الْقَبُولُ فِي الْأَرْضِ. After Allah loves him, Jibreel loves him, the people of the heavens love this individual, then acceptance and love and respect is placed for this servant on earth. I.e., from the signs that Allah loves a person is that the people love that person. This is one of the signs. But you may say, aren't there evil people that are loved? Aren't there people who are plainly sinful and disrespectful to Allah, to God, whatever their religion may be? They're loved. If this movie star walked in the door, would everybody not get up? And this movie star has no type of religion, let alone Islam, let alone pious and righteous. Their legacy is based upon disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and all of his messengers. Will we not be starstruck? So true love, loving someone not because of the money that they have, or the muscles that they have, or the fame that they have, or the beauty that they have, but you honestly, truly love a person. That's a sign that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you. And as we'll read in the second version of this hadith, the unfortunate and sad opposite is also the reality. People hate you, and hate you for the right reasons. Not I hate you because of what you look like, or what side of the border you come from. The South, hate you. North, you're a good guy, you're accepted. I hate you because of this prejudice or stereotype, because of your sex, your gender. I hate men. All men are evil. Just because they're men, that's their sin, being men. And a woman is loved and respected and befriended. But if a man, automatically evil. But someone truly loves you and hates a person for the correct reasons, not the fake surface love. As long as you're successful, the people will walk behind you. Sports, there are 3 football games today. Thanksgiving, right? As long as you're winning, the people, kids will buy your jersey. They'll wear your jersey. You'll be on this commercial, that commercial, this commercial, right? This insurance commercial, this candy bar commercial, this sneaker deal. Let you have a bad season. Let you get injured really badly. Let you really mess up. See how quickly those people that love you will what? They will drop you immediately. And as quick as they loved you and worshiped you and idolized you, they'll move on to a new quarterback. But someone who truly loves you, and this is why when we talk about leadership and the science of governing men, an age-old question is it best to be loved or feared? Rulers have been asking this question for centuries. What's best? For my people to love me, or for my people to be scared and terrified of me? Iron fist. If I show any weakness, the country will be in chaos. Some people say it's best to be feared, because the heart changes. Love you one day, hate you the next day, but the fear that you instill in their hearts, they'll always remember that. And even if they do try to make a revolt or rebel against you, they'll at least hesitate. They'll think about the consequences. And some rulers say, I'd rather be loved. And that is because if the person truly loves the ruler, the king, the queen, the traitor, the infiltrator, the invader, the occupier, is not going to last long in this country. It's not going to last long. It's not going to last long. And that's because they can never take the love out of the king from the people's hearts. The love of the king out of the people's hearts. Versus fear, they find someone stronger than you, someone that you're afraid of, you can be easily removed. Or you're weak and old. You've lost 7 battles. You're no longer as strong as you used to be. The fear will wane. But when someone truly loves that leader, they're going to die. They're going to sacrifice, they're going to give up everything because the heart is the most powerful thing. So therefore, how do I know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves me? One of the signs, one of the ways is to look at your relationship with the people. If you interact with 100 people on a daily basis, make an equation. How many people love me? How many people hate me from these 100 people? My wife, my son, my daughter, my boss, my employee, my supervisor, my laborer. I'm the head of this construction company. My messenger. Do people love me in this message as an imam? Or do they look at me as just being an employee? They can't stand when I speak, when I talk. Because do people really love you? And then perhaps you can gauge your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Moving forward. The next version of this hadith states, and that hadith is in Bukhari and was totally authentic and sound. There's a version of Sahih Muslim that states, when Allah loves a slave, He calls Jibreel and says, I love so and so, so love him. And then Jibreel loves him. Then Jibreel announces in the heavens saying, Allah loves so and so, so love him. And the inhabitants of the heavens also love him. And the people on earth love him. And when Allah hates a slave, we can't just accept the sweet and the cool and the comfortable. This is one of the reasons why we have strayed from the pure teachings of Islam, only accepting the sweet tasting things, the good. People today say, no, God can't hate. God only loves. God is all love. There's no such thing as, there's no one that God hates. You can't say that. That instills hatred in people. They'll accept the fact that God loves. God hates. No, we don't accept that. I'm the imam of your masjid. First, the most important thing, of course, is pay me. That's first and foremost. Make sure that my check is there, hefty, heavy, every week like we agreed. Parking spot out front. My house, my lodging, this house isn't big enough for me. I need a bigger, nicer house. A house that you would live in. I need vacation, sick leave. I need this and I need that. Because I'm your imam. I teach you the Quran. I teach your children that which you cannot teach them. I tell you to fear wrong. It's my haqq. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? In general, that's right. However, Sheikh, could you please shorten the salah? It's a little long. People are a little sick. People have to go back to work. I'll think about it. Sheikh, could you please, inshallah, make sure that you're here 10 minutes before the iqamah, the way we can make sure that I'm busy. Sheikh, I have a problem. It's 11 o'clock at night. Let's be generous, gracious. Me and my wife got into an argument. She says this, can you help us out? I'll see you tomorrow morning in the masjid in the office. It's my personal time. I'm out on the clock. That's 11 p.m., not 12 a.m., 1 a.m. Brother, you pick up the phone and you hear people screaming, hollering. Husband and wife having a domestic argument. You're the imam. We need your guidance. Say, no, I'm sorry, I'm busy, I can't help you. You have to figure it out. Tell your wife to calm down. You guys can come in the office tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Right? So the imam, he comes, he does the khutbah. He's not sharp. He didn't review well. He didn't study well. He didn't prepare well. He's not speaking properly. He's not doing his job. But he demands all of his rights. It feels good to be the imam. You get paid to recite the Quran. You get paid to speak. You get paid. You're always in front of the people, higher than the people. It feels good, right? But the responsibilities, the duties, the bitter, hot side of that, you also have to what? Accept, correct? And everything just in life isn't just sweet and cool and comfortable. And the same applies to anything else in life, any aspect of life, right? You can't just demand without giving. Sports, it's good to be the star quarterback and to win, and for your players to pick you up and to do the interviews and get the bonuses and et cetera, et cetera. But being a football quarterback in the National Football League, there are injuries. You're going to get hit. You're going to break something. You're going to crack a rib. You're going to tear an ACL. You're going to lose games. There are going to be people who criticize you. That's all a part of what? The game and the position. You will be blamed for having a losing season even though you threw the ball accurately. You dropped it. But in the statistics, that goes as an incompletion, right or wrong. Even though the ball was what? It was there on money. The wide receiver dropped it. That is now your ratio. That's a part of the what? The game. You threw a ball that was a little low, a little high, a little behind the receiver. The receiver made a great and exceptional catch. That counts as whose completion? That counts as whose touchdown? Just like you accept the bad ball that he caught, you also have to accept the good ball that was dropped. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only does he love people, but he also hates people. And when that takes place, when Allah hates a servant, he does the exact same thing he tells Jibreel. Oh Jibreel, there's a servant of mine that I hate. It is now your duty to hate him. And Jibreel takes those instructions, he passes them on to the inhabitants of heaven or the heavens, so and so. Why the person is hated by Allah. Now you hate him. And then how does a servant know that he's reached the ultimate low point, that Allah hates him? Is when the people hate him upon earth and not hate you for the wrong reasons. But the people of righteousness and piety, they don't like you. they don't wish to sit with you or talk with you. They don't like you. Whenever you shake someone's hand, you go and you wash your hands immediately. Ugh. It's a problem. And that also pertains to politics. That's a fact, all right? How a person is loved or hated will determine whether they will keep their head in their neck after the coup d'etat or not. Many presidents, kings, monarchs were expelled, removed from power, and they kept their lives. And there were many leaders, the angry mob said, what? Off with his head. He's out of position, he's out of power, and they still want to see him what? Die. Proving that they what? They truly hated him. And of course, in most cases, they only hated him because he was a violent, he was a wrongdoer, he was a tyrant, he was an oppressor. And a good king, even though it's time for him to move on, we want a different government, don't kill him, because he was a good king. And he did have concern for the people, he did love the people, he did look out for the people, he did protect the people. He made some mistakes, he made some errors, but he doesn't deserve to lose his life. So just gauge and look at, does the Lord love me or not? That's an ultimate question you may never find the true answer to in this world. But there are signs. And many people claim the love of Allah. They love Allah. I love Allah so much. None of that is important. What's important is that Allah loves you. Allah loves you. How do I get Allah to love me? Is there a way? Are there ways? What are those ways? How much do they cost? Who do I have to talk to? What club do I have to join? Is there a dress code? Is there a monthly subscription? Is there a race? Is there a gender? Is there a class or a clique? You'll be shocked at how easy and simple the path towards good is, if you really wanted it. And if you really wanted to obtain Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's love, it costs you nothing of monetary value. Allah loves those who are patient. Allah yuhibbu sabirin. Allah loves those who are patient. How much does it cost you to be patient? How much do you have to pay? But in order for this star to love you, you have to buy a ticket to the concert, correct? You have to become a specific fan. You have to join their fan club. You have to worship them. You have to idolize them. You have to do this, you have to do that. But for Allah to love you, simple, basic things, easy things that don't cost much, regardless of how handsome you are, or how unhandsome you may think that you are, how tall you are, how short you are. You have a crooked nose or a straight nose. You have one arm, you have 6 fingers, 5 fingers. None of those things matter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at the deeds of the servant, the actions of the servant. And if a person truly wanted to obtain Allah's love, the doors are wide open. And just think about the benefit. How your relationships with people would be better when the greatest of your aims, the highest of your aims, the greatest of your ambitions is today, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to try to get Allah to love me. Versus how I live as a teenager. The first thing that I think about and worry about when I wake up is what? Who messaged me? Who liked? Who subscribed? Who watched? Who downloaded? Who commented? Who shared? Who passed it on? Think how bad that is now, guys. I go to sleep worrying about another human being loving me and not hating me. And I wake up in the morning and the first thing I worry about is another human being what? Loving me or not loving me. That's a very sad state to be in. And there's no guess or there's nothing which is vague or unclear about why so many teenagers suffer from so many types of mental illnesses, chronic depression. And one of the reasons why there's so much depression, and then obviously when there's depression, then there are a list of other problems. You're going to do bad in school, your social engagements and relationships will suffer. You won't look after your hygiene. You may smoke drugs, not because you want to get high, but because you're depressed. You may drink alcohol, not because you want to do it, it's halal, it's haram, but I'm depressed. A man may commit zina because he's depressed. A woman may submit herself to zina because she's depressed. And of course, the greatest harm, the biggest danger, is a person may lose their religion, throw away Islam, because they're depressed and they're in a state of utter hopelessness. And they think that it's, that's it. And one of the reasons why you, 18 years old, 17 years old, 16, why you're so depressed is your heart is connected to a human or humans instead of being connected to the creator of the humans. You look forward to other human beings and you don't look forward to Allah. You're afraid and scared of other human beings not accepting you. And you are scared and afraid that Allah hasn't accepted you or accepted your worship. If you made Allah the biggest and the greatest of those whom you want to be loved by, no doubt, I guarantee, you will find an immediate difference in the quality of your life. Immediately. And that depression and that sadness, these pills, all of that stuff will gradually, if not immediately, go away. It doesn't matter if you liked my post or not. It doesn't matter if you said, oh, that's this, that's that. None of those things matter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, loves me. And if I violate Allah, if I disrespect His laws, if I anger Him, if I offend Him, He will hate me. So that's what I'm worried about. So the quality of our lives, without a question, is going to be greatly enhanced by thinking about this hadith. And from that is social media. And there are many harms of social media, just like there are many benefits of social media. As I speak, we're on social media. Social media is a double-edged sword. But from the greatest of the harms of social media is that everyone is following someone else, trying to be like someone else, setting a trend, following a trend, competing for the most likes, for the most subscribers, for the most comments, for the most donations, etc. So their hearts are 24/7 engaged in the acceptance, the fear of lack of acceptance. And that's very dangerous. And this is one of the reasons why our youth are in the state in which they are. So the older brothers and sisters, they need to read this book, they need to read this chapter, they need to read those hadiths. The younger guys, you need to read these hadiths. It takes you 5 minutes to read the hadith. Instead of forwarding this dance, or this food challenge, or this 5-second recipe, or this one or that one, forward the hadith. Bukhari, Muslim. No issues with life, Bukhari, Muslim. When Allah loves a servant. And you'll be shocked what it will do for you and for your life. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those whom He loves. And we ask Him to protect us and to prevent us from being from among those whom He hates. Allahumma ameen. Of course, we make dua for our brothers and sisters in Gaza and in the West Bank and all over the world. Any Muslim that is being harmed, losing his life, losing his wealth, losing his property, being persecuted, we make dua for them. We ask Allah to give them more patience, and to reward them, and to heal the wound, the sick, the infirm. And ask Allah to have mercy upon those who have lost their lives. We ask Allah to help our brothers and sisters in Gaza and in the West Bank, and to deliver them from their oppressors. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. If there are any questions, inshallah ta'ala, I don't mind taking them. I don't know how much time we have left. I don't mind taking the questions, if there are any, from the brothers or the sisters. And if not, perhaps we can look for a few of the brothers and sisters online if they have any questions, if that's okay with you, inshallah. Clear? Are there any questions here? Clear? Alhamdulillah. First question is coming from initials LR or IR from Detroit, Michigan. How to deal with a Muslim family member that commits major sins outwardly, like drinking and homosexuality. First thing to do is to pray for their souls. Ask Allah to guide them. Ask Allah to forgive them. And ask Allah to prevent and protect them from going back to those heinous crimes. Secondly, I would say, sit down and talk with them. Don't judge them. Don't criticize them. Don't lecture them or preach to them. But just sit down and talk with them. And perhaps Allah surely knows best. From my experiences, I would say 7 out of 10 big sins and crimes that are committed in our societies and our households are based off of social issues or psychological issues, such as chronic depression. I was chronically depressed, I'm always depressed. My family members ignored me, they said bad things to me, etc., 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 etc. And the only person that didn't criticize me, that allowed me to cry on their shoulder and to weep, was a homosexual. So therefore, this homosexual was my friend. They're there for me. Muslims aren't there for me. They don't want to hear my problems. They judge me, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. Finger, 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 finger. And a homosexual person actually listened. And then they get caught in that. Or to take away the pain, to numb the pain, they started drinking. This is very common with regards to rape, molestation, sexual abuse. Many people that are abused or raped or sexually violated, they can't bounce back. That hammer blow is too hard. Being sexually abused in itself is hard enough. But I was sexually abused by the person that was supposed to protect me. My father, my uncle, my older brother. They were supposed to protect me, and they violated me. So it's hard to bounce back from that. And a person is looking for something to numb that pain, to take their mind off of that sorrow, and they find it in a cup or a glass. Does this mean that drinking alcohol is lawful? No. Are we condoning the consumption of alcohol or homosexuality? No. We're trying to state that there are reasons behind people straying from their fitra. And sometimes they need a person to talk to. Sometimes they need a person to listen to them. Sometimes they need someone to cry to. And then perhaps you can give them nasiha, a deen of nasiha. I understand your pain. I'm very sorry to hear that. We try to make it better. We can get through it. But this bottle isn't going to make it better. Trust me. Having a girlfriend or girlfriends or boyfriends isn't going to make it better. It's going to bring you more problems. You performing homosexuality or lesbianism, trust me, it's not going to be the cure to whatever you're suffering from. Trust me, it's not. And that's because you're a Muslim. So that's my advice, inshallah. Does this mean that we don't judge things or people? I'm not saying that. That's not our message. But you have to sometimes just, be easy and soft with a person, and you can achieve much more than being harsh with a person initially. Allahu A'lam. Next question says, Barakallahu feekum, alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hayyakallah, Shaykh Khalid. Ahlan wa marhaba. Questions come from London, UK, and this was AS. How to get over a failed potential marriage. Not a relationship per se, but an emotional attachment which may have formed. Any advice, brother? Right. Well, first and foremost is the age-old question, the chicken or the egg, right? Which came first? The chicken or the egg or the chicken? That question is, love before marriage or love after marriage? Everyone understand this? Muslims debate over this. Should you be in love before you get married? Or wait until you get married to fall in love? Democrat, Republic, or Republican, excuse me. There are those who want to say, it's a beautiful thing to be in love before you get married. Who wants to be in a marriage in which you have to start from scratch? Who wants to be in a marriage cook, clean, serve my mother, bring tea and biscuits to my guests, and that's it. I pay for, a roof over your head, a bed for you to sleep upon, the bills. That's our marriage. We've watched too many movies to live in a marriage like that. We've watched too many dramas, too many soap operas. Everybody wants to fall in love, to sing and dance and run through the field of flowers and fall and tumble. This is reality. People want to be in love, madly in love, because of their programming. So they look at marriage as being 60% love, 40%, business, right? Show business, 10% show, 90% business. So that's one way of looking at it. Of course you should be in love. Don't do harm, but you should love her, get to know her. That way when you get married, bismillah. You can walk right into it. And then there are others who say, you shouldn't fall in love before you get married. Rather, you can't be in love before you get married. And that's because if you're in love with someone that you can't be with how you want to be with them, in most cases it's going to lead you to some harm. Or, no matter how many negotiations and meetings you've had, you have not what? Signed a contract. Never count your chickens before your eggs what? Hatch. That's a rule of life. We're talking, we're negotiating. I want to come and be the imam of this masjid. Mashallah, mashallah, mashallah. But until that contract is signed, there can't be with so much attachment, because anything can go wrong. No, thank you, brother. Or I say, thank you for hosting me. No, thank you, community. I need to go somewhere else. Until that contract is what? Signed. And even when the contract is signed, contracts are terminated or revoked. So therefore, falling in love before you get married is a means, is a danger of you having your feelings hurt and crushed. Now, let's be honest for a second. Let's be real. The times in which we live, culture, in most cases, means more than a deen. And most of us, cultural norms are superior to the Islamic norms. So if you fall in love with a girl or a boy, you love this person, according to you, they're perfect for you. But there's some cultural differences. You're not just marrying him or her. Your parents have to what? They're marrying him too. You're marrying into her family too. So even if everything is good with you and her, you still have to get to the parents and the grandparents and the tribal leaders and the elders. They all have to approve of that marriage. So it's kind of foolish and a little dangerous to expose your heart to something which isn't guaranteed. So there are two different sides to this argument. And as we can see in the question, this person is a victim of that side. And those who said, I told you not to fall in love until she's your wife. As soon as she's your wife, you can write her a million messages, give her flowers, take her on a honeymoon, do whatever you want. Not until you guys are married. The last second, the father can say, I've changed my mind. He's not good enough for you, daughter. He didn't pay enough. Or his background isn't as noble as ours. He's from a different tribe. They're basket weavers. We are warriors. You can't marry my daughter, sorry. So, potato. At the end of the day, how to overcome things not working out for you. First and foremost, nothing takes place unless it was qadar. It was meant to be. Nothing. So as a Muslim, you're naturally sad as a human, but you have to put on your emergency breakdown. Qadar. Submit. End of discussion. And this is the answer to those who say, can a Muslim suffer from chronic depression? Is it possible? Can a believer be down and out all of the time? My answer is no. Some point in time, your iman has to pick you up, if you have any. And that is in the belief and the submission to it was meant to be. It's before I was created. Secondly, you should think Allah. Maybe Allah protected you from something that you didn't know about. You thought it was good. You thought it was positive. But in reality, it could have been a disaster for you. Maybe it was meant that this person would be taken away from you and you couldn't handle that. And this all comes from reading the Quran. The importance of reading the Quran, reflecting on the Quran. Allah talks about what was meant to be, what was not meant to be. Allah talks about how He saved, how He rescued, what would have happened, how Allah knew when they thought. Very important for psychology and the spirituality to merge. Thirdly is, as they say, there are many fish in the sea. Trust me, this was a good fish. You don't understand, this fish there are other fish, trust me. There are many, many other fish. That could be bigger or faster or prettier, trust me. There are more seas, more rivers, more ponds. Inshallah, you'll find something else. So you have to be able to gain maturity and hopefully you learn from your mistakes. What went wrong? Maybe you did something wrong. You feel like you're the victim. I didn't do anything wrong. You did something wrong. The victim makes mistakes, right? The cheetah hunts the gazelle, right? That's how it is. The gazelle is a herbivore. The cheetah is a carnivore. The gazelle eats grass, fodder, whatever. The cheetah eats flesh and meat. That's how Allah made the two animals. So the cheetah, with his exceptional speed, agility, reflexes, its stealth, snatches the gazelle, rips the gazelle's body open, its intestines, and consumes it while it's still alive. Gruesome, right? That's how nature is, quote unquote. The gazelle has no right to say that it did make a mistake. It's a victim, clearly. It's a victim of this aggressive cheetah. But in reality, how did the cheetah get so close? Why was the gazelle away from the rest of the herd? Why did the gazelle stop running? Knowing that the cheetah, no matter how blazing its speed is going to run out of air. A cheetah cannot outrun a gazelle. Because cheetahs have quick, short sprints, powerful sprints. Fastest land animal. But if that gazelle runs a little longer, the cheetah will run out of air and it quits. So therefore, as the victim, there were mistakes that you made. So learn from this experience and move forward to the next relationship. Become wise through foolish errors. That's my advice. Wallahu ta'ala. Next question says, A.N. from D.C. Is it true that your father can make dua against you and the law can accept it? Barakallahu fikum. Yes and no. The yes part of the answer is that your father can make dua against you like anyone can make dua against you. And the father, if he's forced to pray against his own son, what's the status of that? How can the father make dua against his own son unless his son, right? However, the no part is, son, if you don't marry this woman, or if you marry this woman that I don't approve of, I'm going to make dua against you. If you don't stop being so religious and shave your face and stop coming to the mosque every day, I'm going to make dua against you. If you don't pick this profession, a civil engineer, not a chemical engineer, civil, I'm going to make dua against you. And my dua is accepted. That is abuse. And many, countless Muslim parents, they're very abusive. And they think that dua is their own personal plaything. They think it's a weapon that they can pick off the shelf and put back on the shelf when they want. They think this ignorantly. They think that they own the keys to Allah's mercy. And they think that they can dictate and dominate everything in their child's life. No, it doesn't work like that. No one is in control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If your son doesn't want to listen or take your advice, okay, it doesn't mean that it's haram, it doesn't mean it's a sin. And how many sins are you making? How many people have you oppressed? How many people making dua against you? So, you lose the message, you lose focus. On the day of judgment, I'm going to be looking for you. Who says someone's not going to be what? Looking for you on the day of judgment. Who says that you're going to be in Jannah and this person's in hell? Who said that? Who told you that? So the arrogance of the slave is very dangerous. The question is coming from initials RC from Allentown, Pennsylvania. I'm a revert, an only Muslim in my whole family. Should one attend a family gathering for Thanksgiving, knowing this is the only way to see all your family? If you are new to Islam and you are weak and you're learning, you don't know that much, you're not that strong, okay, that's one thing. But if you're learning and aspiring, you're trying to forge your Islamic identity and personality and follow the rules, do not visit your family on Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter or any other holiday. Whether it's a religious holiday, worldly holiday, period. Visit your family, be dutiful to your family, respect your family, but do not partake in those holy days. The moment you show weakness, and the moment you bend and compromise, they will demand more. This is a fact. Some non-Muslims will say, look, I don't have a problem with you being a Muslim. That's fine. You come from a Catholic family, you were baptized, but you chose, it's always going to be derogatory terms used. You chose to go away from the religion of your family. But it's okay, Timmy, you can be a Muslim, no problem. But what does Islam have to say about visiting your family? Doesn't Islam promote taking care of your family, looking after your family? Grandma's here, aunt's here, this one's there, so on and so on and so on and so forth. And that may be true. Everybody has off, vacation, everybody's in one place. That may be true. But know for sure, they will demand from you another visit on a worse holiday that everyone agrees has a Christian origin too, and that's Christmas. It's a bigger vacation. Your grandmother from this state came, from California came, she's in college in Canada, she came. How you gonna not come? And the next thing you know, you've accepted their first argument and you're stuck. And then you start losing things step by step. Eid, you invite your non-Muslim family members to the Eid. How many want to come? It's a serious question. How many will come? Come to my mosque on Jumu'ah. It's open. How many will come? Oh, I can't, Timmy. I gotta work. Oh, I would love to come. What's the name of it again? Masjid? What do you call it? I'm sorry, I can't come. But the next time, see how many of them are willing to come to an iftar. But all of them demand that you come to Thanksgiving or Christmas. If you don't believe me, try it out. Try with your coworkers, your non-Muslim coworkers. Hey man, the office is having a Christmas party. You gotta come. Talk to your boss, or you're the boss. Say, I want you guys to come over to my home. I'm having a Ramadan dinner, feast. Maybe one person will come, but I guarantee 9 out of 10 of the people in the office are not going to show up. And that proves something. That shows something. So why are you twisting and bending, and they're unwilling to twist and bend? All right, so it's very dangerous. It's not a small thing. All right, to make a special day, a special feast, that's very dangerous. And of course, I like turkey too. It's nothing wrong with turkey if it's halal. It's nothing wrong with gravy and stuff. And if it's halal, cranberry sauce, sweet potato pie. However, not on the last Thursday of November. No. يوما قبله أم يوما بعده. The Prophet ﷺ being told his wives, do not single out Jumu'ah to fast. Unless you fast the day before, or day what? Or day after. But not just Jumu'ah. Wallahu ta'ala. The next question says, alright, we'll stop here, no problem. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.